right, so the next thing I might want to do, and again, you can do a lot of this in any order. There's no, in some cases, there's a specific order, but it's really kind of understanding what you have and where you want to go. One of the things that I realized that when I named all these curbs, I really want to have the top back of curb and the face of curb or the bottom of curb on at least named differently. I could keep them on the same layer, but I want to possibly make sure that they're named appropriately, so when the guy in the field clicks on that line for staking it out, he knows which line he's picking versus the top and the bottom. So you could separate them by layers. I'm going to go ahead and keep them on the same layer, and I'm just going to rename them. However, when I go to rename it, what I want to show you is I have to pick on each line and select, top back of curb, or face of curb, or bottom of curb, top back of curb, right? Because you can see that they're all individual segments. Well, what I really want to do is I want to join them together to make them all one line. Now I could pick one, right click, use the join line command, and sit here and work my way around joining all these lines. Now there is that tool we have, which is called project cleanup. If you remember if you took the takeoff class and remember from that, you probably saw that a few times, and we use that quite a bit. I'm going to do it here. So what I'm going to do, first of all, is I'm going to come in and I'm going to turn off all the other layers and just leave on my line work information. Now, I'm also going to look at this in 3D because I want to see what the CAD data is. And by looking at this, I'll notice that I've got CAD data at all kinds of different elevations, okay? And that's probably the case with a lot of this stuff, right? You're going to see this quite a bit, is that the 3D data doesn't always match what it should be. So even when I was drawing in that building pad, if we take a look at its properties, it's got like on a negative 17 elevation. Now if we look at our project, we know that we're in the elevation of like the 20, 21, 22, right? So what I can do in the data prep project cleanup is I can come in here and I can use some tools that will do multiple cleanup at the same time. So here it's going to remove blocks and unused layers and that type of stuff. Down here it's going to join lines with gaps. So I'm going to bump this up a little bit. I'm just going to make this, let's say if anything's within 500ths, just in case there's a little separation. Sometimes it's trial and error. You may have to bump it up more. I want it to join together, okay? Down here, I can get rid of hatch objects. I don't need those. I can filter line vertices. We'll show you that. But this one down here, it says elevation range. And what I can do with this, it says set elevation range outside to undefined. So basically, if I scan for the elevation range, you can see that I got data that goes down all the way to negative, looks like, what? Almost 113 or 1 million, and then maximum is 78. Well, I know that really anything between, let's say, 5 feet at the lowest to my maximum, let's just say it's 50 feet, and is the highest, that any objects outside of that are going to get basically set to undefined, which is what I really want. So I'm going to click apply. It's going to go through. You can see it removed a bunch of blocks that aren't being used. It removed a bunch of duplicate lines. I'm doing it on the entire project, okay? It's also coming through. It removed a bunch of hatch patterns. It set elevation range of about 2,000 objects. It joined a bunch of lines, and then it removed any unprotected layers, and then it ended the cleanup. So if we take a look now, and we take a look at this building pad that we drew in, you can see that it's got a question mark, and that means it's undefined. There's no elevation. You'll notice that all my other curb line here got all undefined as well. So it's all flat, it's all on one elevation. And if I come in and pick on that line, and we pick that one line string, you can see that that line string follows and goes all the way down and around. Now here, it joined that line there. This one here, right, that was one whole line. We got a line here, it looks like it joined. So in this case, it actually joined some lines that we actually want to break, because I don't want that one to be one whole line. So we'll have to come back and break that as well. Okay, same thing here. It's like one closed object. So we'll come back and we'll have to fix some of those. But fixing a few versus fixing a bunch is going to be a lot easier. And I'll show you that again, and then we'll show you that in another video here. But I also want to point out down here, you may run into this, and you can see that these arcs down here didn't get elevated. I don't really know the answer. I know it's out there. We've talked about it a couple times. If I select that arc, you'll notice that it's got some weird geometry. It's like in a totally different UCS. There's probably a few different ways to fix this. I'm going to show you how I'm going to fix it. I'm basically just going to edit this line. I'm going to put this arc back in. I have the geometry. I know that it's a 12-foot radius. This one here is a 10-foot radius, and then this one here is a 9.5 foot for the back of curb. So I'm just going to elevate or edit these, and I'm going to show you that in the following video. So I'm going to kind of do another bit of cleanup on this curb line to break these pieces, and we'll fix this corner down here.